DevOps. DevOps has become very common technology or course that every technical person is looking for to learn and explore. If you're looking for a course on AWS DevOps from explaining the concepts with adequate hands-on, then grab this course. That is CI/CD with AWS DevOps Tools. This course will teach you the concepts in AWS DevOps with an associated hands-on that allows you to put your learning into practice. Let me take you through the course objectives, lessons, hands-on that we are going to learn and do along with the environment required. Now, let's go through the course objectives. In this course, you will be learning about creating the basic pipeline between S3 buckets, to trigger the pipeline by updating the source, create and connect to AWS CodeCommit repository, create a pipeline for CodeCommit repository, to trigger the pipeline using Git commands, create a Buildspec file for the builds, configure an EC2 instance for CodeDeploy deployments, create application and deployment groups for tagged EC2 instances, add CodeDeploy actions to pipeline, create cloud formation using user data, invoke AWS Lambda Function in CodePipeline. Now, let's understand what is AWS DevOps. DevOps model enables the developers to grow more efficient at driving business results. AWS provides services that helps the developers to practice DevOps at ease and that are built for use with AWS resources. These tools automate manual tasks, help teams to manage complex environments at scale, and keep engineers in control of the high velocity that is enabled by DevOps. In this course, you will learn to set up AWS CodePipeline, understand the continuous delivery and continuous integration, code pipeline concepts with DevOps pipeline, to create the pipeline between S3 buckets, to learn about how the code commit works, setting up the AWS code commit, further creating the AWS code commit repository and connecting via HTTPS, illustrating the pipeline with a build stage, creating build spec file for the builds, understanding of code deploy compute platform to configure an EC2 instance for code deploy, to add code deploy action to pipeline, introduction to AWS Lambda with AWS CodePipeline, Lambda functions used in pipeline, also with the Lambda CodePipeline permissions and to invoke the Lambda functions in the code pipeline. This course is designed for a specific target audience, such as cloud architects, cloud application developers, DevOps developers, DevOps engineers. The prerequisites for taking this course are basic cloud infrastructure concepts, working knowledge on Linux platform, basic understanding of Linux commands, basic understanding of CI/CD. The course include the lessons and the practices, which illustrates the various concepts of AWS DevOps and a lot of hands-on using various features of AWS DevOps. The course comprises of the 6 lessons. Lesson 1, that is Introduction to AWS Code Pipeline. The practices for lesson 1 would have you to learn how to create the basic pipeline between S3 buckets, triggering the pipeline by updating the source, to view the pipeline details and execution history, further editing the pipeline and triggering manually, and deleting the pipeline. Lesson 2, that is using AWS CodeCommit repositories. The practices for lesson 2 includes how to create the AWS CodeCommit repository, connect to CodeCommit repository via HTTPS, to create a pipeline from CodeCommit repository, followed by triggering the pipeline using get commands, and to edit the files in repository using CodeCommit. Lesson 3, that is build code using AWS Code Build. The practices for lesson 3 would have you to learn about creating a pipeline with a build stage, to create a Buildspec file for the builds, and to view the logs on build failures. Lesson 4, deploying to EC2 Instance using AWS CodeDeploy. The practices for lesson 4 includes configuring an EC2 instance for CodeDeploy deployments, to create an application and deployment group for tagged EC2 instance, to add the CodeDeploy action to pipeline, and to create an AppSpec file for deployments to EC2 instance. Lesson 5, that is configuration management and infrastructure as code using AWS CloudFormation. The practice for lesson 5 includes how to create stack in CloudFormation, the CloudFormation update and delete stack, further to create CloudFormation using user data. Lesson 6, that is invoking Lambda function in AWS CodePipeline. The practice for lesson 6 includes how to invoke the AWS Lambda function in CodePipeline. To do the practice in this course, you need to set a practice environment, which includes AWS account to access the Amazon Cloud DevOps Tools, AWS user account with privileges to update or add security pods, PuTTY to connect to cloud instances, AWS user account with admin privileges. Now, in the end, let me summarize the information that you have got. That is, detailed course objectives, course description based on the objectives, course target audience, prerequisites for taking up this course, detailed course schedule, practice environment used in the course to do the practice.